So recently, Klei has made it possible to store nearly an infinite amount of items in a chest, thanks to the new expander upgrade you can get post Celestial Champion. It's only about 4,294,967,297 items per inventory slot, which means you certainly shouldn't have any problems with storing items anymore. But I've always wondered, what is the maximum amount of items that the player can carry and transport at one time? The player has only a set amount of inventory slots and can expand this number by using certain equips and characters. So what is the most amount of items a character can hold? I think it's best we start at the bottom. Every item has a stack size, even ones that don't seem like it. Based on what type of item is stored, the stack size varies. Some are more efficient on space, while others are actually less efficient. I'm going to be counting just the raw number of items instead of the number of items refined, because we would be here all day saying that there are 80 logs in a stack of boards, or that 4 food items go into a crockpot dish, so a stack of crockpot food is actually 160 items. I will only count items that you can receive back from the storage in their original state, without anything like deconstruction, so raw items and refined items count the same, despite more of one going into the other. So let's get started. Nearly every character can only access a maximum of 30 inventory slots. 15 in their main inventory, 14 from a Krampus sack, and 1 slot from the mouse cursor, leaving only the hand/head slot to be filled with equipment that can be stacked. The hand slot will be the Howlitzer, and the head slot will have the Turf Razor with 20 turfs equipped. We can stack items up to 40 in each inventory slot, meaning a player with just items stacked in their inventory will be able to hold 1,263 items. But we can do better. If you're able to find an oversized beehive, hammer it, and defeat the bee queen, you'll be granted with 4 times more inventory space. This is because of the bundle wrap recipe. The bundle wrap allows you to store 4 stacks of items into one, meaning we are able to multiply our 30 inventory slots by 4, making our total item count jump up to 4,893 items, counting the bundle wrap that stores the items. Pretty good, I must say, for general use, but if we want to have more, we need to get into specifics. There is a way to hold more items, and that's thanks to a recent upgrade for food storage from the Beyond updates. The Polar Berger bin was added recently and allows the player to store 6 stacks of crockpot foods inside them, meaning if we happen to get 30 of these, we can have 7,293 items. That's a lot of food, but there's actually something in the game that's existed for a long time that no one ever really uses, and it outclasses it in storage. The item was part of the She Sells Seashells update with the Krabby Hermit, and this item is the tackle box. There are various sizes of tackle boxes, but the biggest one has 15 slots. It is used only for fishing gear though. The best use for it is probably storing all the twigs that are lying around, since twigs count as fishing gear. If we get 30 of these and fill them all with twigs, we can make a regular character with no inventory bonus or Chester be able to hold 18,093 items. That's a lot of items, but we could still go a bit further since we can add Chester as a pseudo item. Since he only follows if we hold his eye bone, we have to take away a slot, but this gives us 8 extra slots in return. 11 if he's Shadow Chester, leading to an additional 6,600 items, and the same for Hutch, giving us an additional 8 slots for an additional 4,800 items, making a regular survivor cap out at 29,495 items. Probably enough to crash a server if you choose to spawn them in all at once. But we can still go higher. There are only a few characters that have inventory expanding characteristics unique to them. These characters being Wilson, Walter, and Maxwell. Wilson with his beard storage, Walter with Wabi, and Maxwell with his top hat. Wilson does not add much to the max number, since his beard only provides 3 extra slots for foods, which only gives an additional 120 to our character maxes, making Wilson have 29,615 items. Maxwell ends up having less items than Walter if the player stays in one shard. This is because Shadow Chester does not increase storage for Maxwell. Instead, Chester links to Maxwell's magical top hat, meaning Maxwell does not have the max starting inventory of 49. He instead has 46, which he can then add to 12 with his top hat, leading to 58 inventory slots. Walter starts with the 49 max inventory slots, and then has 9 more with Wabi, leading to Walter and Maxwell having the same number of inventory slots. But because Maxwell needs his head slot to access the magical hat inventory, he has to lose the turf razor, losing the 20 turfs that it holds. And Walter's slingshot also increases the amount of items that he holds, with 60 ammo instead of the Howliter's 40 teeth, leading to Walter beating Maxwell by 40 items, Walter having 34,943 and Maxwell having 34,903. But if we include multiple shards, Maxwell is able to store an additional 12 inventory slots in his magical top hat. This is because Caves provides its own unique inventory for the top hat. This then leads Maxwell to having 70 inventory slots, maxing out the total item count to 42,115, beating out Walter since he does not gain any additional inventory from Caves. These numbers, however, are only if we use twigs in the spectacular boxes. There's actually an item that stacks higher than 40, and that is Walter's slingshot ammo. It stacks up to 60, but slingshot ammo can't go inside the box, so why am I even bringing it up? Well, Walter would be out of the running if it weren't for moles. Mole worms have 3 inventory slots that we normally can't access, but if we use a trap on them, we can force items into the mole's inventory and still pick up the mole. Doing so will force more items into the mole's inventory than they can normally hold. Like how a player can hold 16 stack of items, even though the player only has 15 inventory slots, with the last stack going into the player's mouth slot. This means we can force 4 stacks of items into the mole's inventory, and we can then bundle these moles with items in their inventory, creating a bundle that has 16 inventory slots for rock-only items. And what does slingshot ammo count as? Rocks. So then each inventory slot with a bundle of moles will allow us to have 960 items in one inventory slot, compared to the spectacular box's 600. Well, Walter only has 58 maximum inventory slots, meaning if we just start with the bundles, we'll have 58 plus 232 moles, multiplied by the 240 pebbles held by each mole, plus the 5 equips of Chester, Hutch, the slingshot, Krampusack, and the turf razor, and the ammo in the slingshot and the turf razor, leading to 45,615. So that means then Walter with both Chester, Wabi, and Hutch can actually hold the most amount of items, beating out Maxwell by 3,500. Walter's special perk of the slingshot ammo crafting really boosted him to fly past Maxwell. But what if they teamed up? Well then, the true maximum without mods gets achieved by Maxwell holding 67,595 pebbles, enough to kill 41 dragonflies. This maximum had me go back and forth a lot, because I remember my first initial counting on the poll that I did for it, I had around 20,000. But afterwards, speaking to a few people and working it out in the game, it ended up being around 65,000, which is a lot. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, this has been Terra, and take care.